Today, we have Nettspend, the untold story of rap's new favorite white kid. Nettspend is slowly but surely coming up in the underground with a not understandable amount of hate. I don't know. We finna get into it.
365 days is all it took for this white kid from Virginia to link up with Chief Keef, Lucky, Wiz Khalifa, and get a Playboy Cardi cosign.
And which is crazy. I didn't see the Playboy Cardi shit yet, but I've been seeing Lucky and shit everywhere with this nigga. And Nettspend go hard.
365 days is all it took for this white kid from Virginia to link up with Chief Keef, Lucky, Wiz Khalifa, and get a Playboy Cardi cosign. Respected rappers in the industry, most young kids only get to dream about getting cosigns from or being next to. Today, he has one of the most polarizing
I said these niggas be fanned out.
Getting cosigns from or being next to. Today, he has one of the most polarizing flows and sounds in the game. You either love him or you hate him, but almost every song he drops is now hitting 10,000 plays in just a day. But the question everyone is asking is, who the fuck is Nettspend? Where did this kid come from? And how the fuck did he blow up so fast?
Free big brother Slim, 2019 got cold with the gym. New bitch, she don't got no man. She know I've been drinking, come fuck with the skin.
2007 as
Walk with the hammer.
Nettspend was born March 18th, 2007 as Gunnar Shepherdson. It's crazy to
nigga just released the whole government. I'm 2 years older than this nigga. I was born in 05.
Even read a year born 2007. This kid is young as fuck, but he grew up in a fairly close-knit family around uncles, grandma, grandpa, mom, and dad. But he was an only child from a middle-class suburb called Lakeside, which is actually right outside of Richmond, Virginia. A lot of
they just dropping lows, like what the fuck?
Of interviews today, he just says he's directly from Richmond, which is probably easier to tell people, but he's actually from this suburb, Lakeside. The city's population peaks at around 12,000, but the kid had a very ordinary middle-class upbringing in Lakeside. Both his parents were hardworking 9-to-5 people, very middle class, which I feel is a common misconception, is that his family just comes from money, but they're just normal, hardworking Americans. But the days Nett would spend as a very
Wait, these pictures of this nigga, I'm like, bro, who's this random white kid?
Money, but they're just normal, hardworking Americans. But the days Nett would spend as a very young child, he would spend outdoors, playing Little League baseball with his dad coaching him, fishing with his dad and his uncle, and watching his dad play in his band called the Five and Dimers, where not only did his dad play guitar, but he gave lead vocals for the band as well. And if I had to guess, this was the very earliest spark in Nettspend's mind that he wanted to be a superstar. And as young kids in America, it's very easy to want to take after your father and take what he did and expand that legacy to a greater extent. Very early on, he had musical influences surrounding him, where his dad would cultivate his music taste into listening to various different genres, not just rock or rap or R&B. He was listening to a bunch of different sounds.
So his dad was really putting him on to shit like that. Maybe his dad put him on to that depth song that niggas is still waiting for it to drop. My nigga, beat that.
Rock or rap or R&B. He was listening to a bunch of different sounds growing up in Lakeside. But Gunnar ultimately gives credit to Michael Jackson's melodies and his music for his transition to his music taste more towards the rap genre. Artists like Michael Jackson, along with Future, Uzi, Chief Keef, and so many others are the reason that Nettspend wanted to become a superstar in the rap industry. The kid has pretty much made songs his entire life from the age of 5 until now, but wouldn't release his official song until about a year ago.
Yeah.
So Gunnar's come up, rise onto the scene happened so fucking fast. I mean, today he has over 100,000 followers on Instagram, tens of thousands of listeners on Spotify, and a lot of fucking people tuning into the music videos and going to the live shows. He connected with a lot of different producers in his earliest days of rap. If anyone's wondering his business model, this is pretty much what he did. What he attempted and succeeded in doing was to connect and hop on a bunch of different underground producers' beats who have worked with other underground rappers and have seen success with those producers. Basically looking at the kind of production that people were already...
And I go, that is pretty smart. It's like, it's not even really hopping on the wave. It's just, you know, you gotta play the game correct.
success with those
That's
producers.
smart as fuck, though.
Basically looking at the kind of production that people were already fucking with and hopping on that said production. Honestly, such a smart tactic because you're guaranteed a beat from those producers if you pay, and you're almost guaranteed a share on their social medias as well, which could expose you to those rappers they have worked with before.
Hey, that's a method, though. What the fuck? I'm about to take the Nettspend method.
At the gate, his sound and mixing on a majority of these tracks are very low quality, but the raw sound and offbeat flow full of unserious bars about women, money, drugs, life, the kids of his generation are eating the fuck up. A sound that along the way has been met with a lot of love, but at the same time a lot of fucking hate. His very first track ever being released under the name Nettspend was with producer Narsix. Now Narsix would have a connection with another underground producer named Zoot 100. Through Instagram, YouTube, and producer Discord chats, these guys would know each other. And through this, whether it be from Narsix sharing his music or just telling Zoot about him straightforward, would later result in Zoot 100 producing for Nettspend. Now Zoot himself is obviously very close with underground rapper Zootsie and Nova Gang. Nova Gang being...
See, I don't know none of these niggas. Like, these underground producers, I don't know none of these niggas. They hard, though. Shout out to know.
Obviously very close with underground rapper Zootsie and Nova Gang. Nova Gang being an underground collective with thousands of followers at the time, and Zootsie being one of those members, also carrying a few thousand himself. Now another one of those producers that Zoot would be close with and would later down the road find himself working with Nettspend too would go by the name of Reclusive, who Reclusive is very known for producing tracks for Zero and Xavier So Bass and a lot of other members a part of 1C. 1C being another prominent internet underground rap collective, with their top member being Xavier So Bass, another kid that has...
I've heard things about Xavier So Bass. Never heard a song from bro ever. I heard things about him, bro.
A stronghold on the youth and has been able to create his own sort of cult following down in New York City. In his first year...
Is he a white boy too? What the fuck going on?
Able to create his own sort of cult following down in New York City. In his first year of rap, he worked with more than 20 different producers, which got him closer to handfuls of other lit underground rap. Him connecting and working with underground niche rappers like Xavier So Bass, Yapo JJ, Osama Sun came from the internet, and working with similar artists they have also worked with before. And having a handful of other underground rappers buying into his sound led to him having the opportunities to open and headline for many concerts in New York and Los Angeles. You could say a combination of not giving a fuck and being in the right time, right place really benefited Net. And for a kid they had only met through the internet, these rappers and producers took him under his wing. One of the most talked about and memed portions of Nettspend's career is his connection and relationship with DJ Fat. DJ Fat is an underground rap creative that's worked with X, Shoreline Mafia, hosted tracks for TK, and a bunch of other influential names in the scene. DJ Fat found Nettspend very early on through the internet. Him along with DJ Renacy would help him by hosting a few of his videos, SoundCloud tracks, and aided in a few connections in the underground scene itself. You'd see him and Nettspend posted up in studios, hotel rooms, going to shows. He really took whatever connections he had and took this young white kid under his wing and really pushed his music harder than any other influencer creative we've seen before in the scene. Also works very close with Doo-Wop Kane, being his personal DJ, and who Nettspend would later down the road cop a feature from and would create a
Wait, they got a Doo-Wop and what the fuck? I need to hear that.
And who Nettspend would later down the road cop a feature from and would create a pretty decent buzz for him at the time in his career. When analyzing their relationship, it's important to note that DJ Fat is 31 years old, and there's two ways the fans really viewed this. One, he's an underground OG just helping a young kid on the scene. Two, He's a 31-year-old habitual lean sipper and is a very negative influence on this upcoming 16-year-old rap. And this dynamic of a 16-year-old and 31-year-old doing lean together was very
this nigga cracking sales, bro.
much memed by the underground scene and was talked about a lot on Twitter, even to this day. Just a few months back, Net officially stopped working with Fat, which many could argue is a solid move for his career as a whole. He's currently on tour with Osama's son and just touched the Rolling Loud stage just a month ago. At this point, there's not many other connections and promotions that DJ Fat could help him with. He as a whole outgrew DJ Fat. But the entire falling out comes into play here. Fat claims he lined up and secured a bunch of shows for Nettspend to perform at and headline. He claims he took his connections and went out of his way to create opportunities for Nettspend to perform. But this is where it all doesn't really make sense, because from Net's perspective, he is currently on tour and performing with a bigger underground rapper at this time. He's been turning up, gaining new connections, touring with Osama's son. So what would be the benefit of ditching that tour to go back to New York City to do smaller shows for DJ Fat, who he claims he said...
You gotta move right, my nigga. He did the right move for sure. For sure.
To go back to New York City to do smaller shows for DJ Fat, who he claims he set up directly for Nettspend. It all doesn't really make sense, but you would see rants from the DJ on Instagram Live, tweets on Twitter.
Bro, stop mentioning Nettspend. And you don't mention Nettspend and DJ Fat in the same sentence. I don't know that nigga.
That he wants no relationship, no connection, no affiliation with the rapper Nettspend. So their connection pretty much just seems like the common case of a rapper outgrowing creative they worked with in the past. Usually the creative starts to feel some type of ego, some type of entitlement behind the artist. And I'd say cutting ties with DJ Fat as a whole is probably a benefit to Nettspend's career. Although he really helped him in the beginning stages, probably getting a lot of people in tune with his music. I could see his sights on bigger and better media outlets, DJs, influencers. For a middle-class white kid from Lakeside, Virginia, right outside of Richmond, Nettspend carries himself with a huge chip on his shoulder. And when getting close with rap groups and rappers like Xavier So Bass, 1C, Osama's son, biggest and most viral moments of his career on the come-up has to be when the Dayroom Demon went out to Jump, a cover artist in the underground scene, and he wants to let it...
Wait, they scrapping with folks. This nigga Osama's, I mean, that's been banging niggas. But, well, to be fair, nigga, Osama's son really got the same upbringing as fucking Nettspend. If you really look at shit, what's going on now, hella shit getting leaked from this nigga Bruce Keith and shit. Mind you, this is the reaction to that. Go watch that.
Went out to Jump, a cover artist in the underground scene, and he wants to let it be known throughout the entire underground scene that he will not take that disrespect. So Nettspend is in New York City for an underground rap show when him and other members of 1C encounter a cover artist slash video editor named Malik. From what this video shows, he's seen pressing, shouting at a young kid, maybe 15 or 16 years old on camera, and what eventually looks like Nettspend giving that kid a mean 5 fingers to the face smack. There are two very different sides to the story that came out of this video, and where the truth lies is most likely somewhere in the middle. So first, why was Nettspend even pressing, coming at this kid, getting aggressive with this young, probably 5'4" pressing?
I'm crying. He pressed Malik. Bro, out here harassing innocent bystanders.
Coming at this kid, getting aggressive with this young, probably 5'4", 15-year-old. So in these tweets, Xavier So Bass and other members of 1C claim that Malik was trying to backdoor members of the group. That's all we heard from this. Yes, that's a very broad, generic claim. There were no specifics behind that claim. Just Malik was trying to backdoor. So I guess Malik was working with the group in some capacity before. Malik happened to be close with other people in the scene that did not like a member of...
Nigga, that Justin Bieber?
1C named Zura. Nettspend and the members clearly took this as some form of disrespect. And here comes the video.
Who you with, son? Come on. We on his ass, son.
Now Malik claims that he was surrounded by multiple members of the group, where one of the group...
This Malik!
Group members actually had a gun on him flashing it.
This bro had pose. You think I'm dying with Nettspend? You are
Which
crazy.
is where we see Nettspend respond here.
Bro, we slid on him without pole, bro. Nobody need pole with. Look. Nobody need pole with that.
Overall, picking on people that want no issues with you and clearly don't want a physical altercation is never a good look, especially when they're smaller than you and you have a group of people with you. And since we've never actually been given a real reason as to why this even occurred, leaving me to believe that this whole encounter was mostly pointless and fueled by immaturity and egos.
Right.
Now, as quick as Nettspend creates relationships, he's not afraid to cut ties with those same people as well. The same exact group that Net would press that cover artist with, he is now on stage screaming fuck one of their members. He is now on stage screaming fuck one of their members. Xavier's so based best friend Zay Guap, a New York City kid in the scene who's built his own following and is currently caught up with a gun charge. But we know the Lakeside lurker does not take any disrespect. And if you're on stage screaming fuck somebody publicly,
the Lakeside lurker
take any disrespect. And if you're on stage screaming fuck somebody publicly, it must be a real beef that this stems from, correct, right? It has to be. So underground fans see this and kind of went wild. Up until that point, they've only seen all of these people on good terms. And now the fans almost felt forced to pick a side. But where does this whole beef stem from? To Osama's son stepping on Zay Guap's shoes by accident. God forbid you step on one of...
You're fucking lying.
These kids Rick Owens, and these motherfuckers are ready to turn into prime Mike Tyson. It's clear that a lot of these kids have very, very fragile egos. It's not a knock to them. They're still young and finding themselves, but wanting to fight and getting overly aggressive after your shoes get stepped on is fucking different. People on their respective sides would give their input and give some background with the beef. I guess Zay Guap's had this problem with Osama's son and Nettspend for a while, but he's never really pressed them about it, and he had the opportunity to say something about how he feels about them, but did not take that opportunity. And if I had to guess, for the most part, this beef will probably only stay on the internet and will not amount to anything. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these kids slid with the gel blasters. It's like, now you guys are gonna cut ties, make fans choose sides between you guys because somebody got their shoes stepped on. These young kids want to try so hard to...
How old is Osama? Ain't that nigga like 18? 17?
Prove how tough they are. But in reality, you don't have to put out this image of you being so tough. You really just have to be yourself in this rap industry. And especially on the internet, you don't really get too many points for being tough. All fans really look at this beef and they kind of just laugh at it. They think it's hilarious. Realistically, who gives a fuck about a pair of shoes? It's not that deep. But the same could be said about the beef with the cover artist as well. I think it's just a bunch of kids trying to act tough, and they're really just caught in their heads. They're so set on portraying this image to the fans, to the audiences, that may not actually truly be them. But that may be for another video. I've been trying to get geeked out, Nettspend saw his most viral moments of his career coming from Twitter X, where the postings of snippets from songs like Drink, What They Say, 2024 Freestyle would put the entire community in a frenzy. Obviously, the thousands of people that don't understand his persona, his sound, hating on the music itself, but then you have the other portion of the community that love and go hard for this kid Nettspend. And if there's anything we know about history in the rap scene, the most polarizing artists tend to become the biggest. The hate and the hundreds of thousands of quote tweets, shares, likes, drive so much popularity to his brand just as much as the love. And when you see artists like Playboi Carti, Chief Keef, Wiz Khalifa co-sign Nettspend and give him that love, I think they all see themselves in him a little bit. Year and a half in the rap scene was a roller coaster. And one thing this 16-year-old white kid from Virginia is good at is getting people to talk about him. And in this game, it can be good or bad, and you still get paid. I remember back in 2015,
Nah, too fast. Good publicity, good public is when you in the eye of the public, good or bad, at the end of the day, it's still good because, you know, you got niggas still talking about you.
Good or bad, and you still get paid. I remember back in 2015-16, all the fights and petty beefs X, Uzi, Cardi got into with other underground artists, but honestly made for such an entertaining time to follow these underground artists, and we learned a lot more about their personalities coming out of that. And right now, not only is Nettspend dropping fire music, he's standing on business in his rap beefs as well, whether he looks the best or not. And it's definitely why he's one of the more entertaining artists and most talked about artists in the scene right now. In an industry that's fueled by millions of dollars, there's something so fitting about a 16-year-old using BandLab and recording with Apple earbuds, resulting in some of his most viral tracks. Not even music labels could choreograph a rise so organic. And at this point, the hate is fueling his music just as much as the love. But yes, a 130-pound blonde white kid, 16 years old, from Virginia, happens to be one of your favorite rappers' favorite rapper. Chief Keef feature and a Playboy Cardi feature would be so fitting for his debut album in the scene. But let me know down below, do you like Nettspend's sound? Do you like his music? Are you going to be invested?
Good video, bro. Without warning. Like, comment, subscribe, on these subs. Let's get to it.